the White House.
And what's important about supporting people like you, because you earned a living. You went to college. You didn't become a lawyer. Most politicians, their background is in law. And law produces very little except arguments. That's what law produces and settlements. But you're a productive member of our society, highly productive, and common sense. You've met payrolls, which most of these people never have done. Bernie Sanders, who came close to being the nominee for president in a recent election, had never had a job, And we're talking about AOC. Her highest level of accomplishment was being a bartender. And now she's on various committees, finance committees. This woman can't add to numbers, I imagine, in her head. You deserve a tremendous amount of credit and support for your willingness to do the very difficult thing, run for office.
Thank you. And, the guy I believe I will defeat in November, Congressman Greg Stanton, as you're basically hinting, he's somebody who has never held a real job. He's been a politician ever since he left law school. He was Phoenix mayor for 6 years, and now he's been congressman since then. I'm sorry. The traditional setup of what American democracy was supposed to be was supposed to be a civic service of folks that understood first in their first chapters of their life, first the educational system, then the business system. And as you said, for 25 years, I got paid after I paid everybody else. My check was the last one that got written. And I understood what it was like to try to keep employees or lose employees or gain the best employees. I understood what it's like during now in an inflationary economy. As I go around the district and talk to voters, I can look them in the eye and say, listen, I've been trying to keep a payroll while my inflation's going up. The pay I have to pay my employees goes up. My insurance payments that I get paid are fixed. They can't change because I have a fixed fee schedule that whether it's Blue Cross, United, Medicare, all of the pay fee schedules are fixed. So as inflation goes up, supplies cost me more. I can't change my prices.
But all of your expenses are going up.
Yep. So that's why during the pandemic and since now with inflationary economy under Biden, my pay's gone down 30, 40%.
I believe it.
So
I believe it. Yeah,
this is the current members in Congress, especially the guy I'm going to displace and defeat, has no idea.
Okay, so let's talk about the issues in that district, because I forget which politician said it. All politics is local.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do for the people, or what are you telling the people in your district who you want to vote for you? What are their issues?
So number one, it's economy. Yeah. We have to have a growth economy. This administration, the Biden administration, and Greg Stanton, the current congressman, has been a rubber stamp, 100% voted with the Biden administration. He doesn't even, I don't think, read the bills. He just signs what the way they tell him. The minority leader tells him to do, and he just signs it. So economic growth. Second is border, sealing the border, unleashing our border patrol so that they can provide. We don't have to write new laws. The laws are on the books,
of course,
to seal our border and stop the hemorrhaging and begin vetting. We have a very detailed policy for border security, because the border security is not just about people coming into this country that want nothing to do with Americanism but simply want to destroy our institutions. It's also about the drugs coming in. I can't tell you how many of the people in our district, Dr. Bob, are horrified by the amount of crime increase we've seen in the last year, horrified by the fentanyl that's coming in, that's laced with the gummy bears laced with fentanyl, and the drug use that's gone up, the trafficking, the sex trafficking, all of the thing that is associated with a unhinged border. Our national defense has been weakened. Our military academies are now part of the DEI initiatives, and we've lost our global superiority that is part of our national security. And I will tell you, if you look under the Trump administration, bless his heart for trying to seal the border, but it wasn't sealed. And even when it wasn't sealed, we had minimal amount of people coming across compared to what we see now. Why? Because the message from the White House, and this is why federal leaders have a bully pulpit role. And I love, my favorite example of this is Natan Sharansky. In his book, he said he knew he was going to be free from a Soviet prison when he read in a newspaper they handed him that Reagan had called the Soviet Union the evil empire. You can stop the hemorrhaging of our border from Biden to the members of Congress by simply daily reminding the world that we are not their garbage can. They cannot send anybody into the United States. It has to be people that want to be American, and they can't go through 4 countries and then claim asylum.
Right.
So all of these laws exist on the book, and we need to tell them we are going to enforce every one of them, and nobody can come here illegally. That would immediately stop the spigot. There's people, most of them aren't even from Mexico. They're from all over the Western
world.
Africa and Eastern, wherever it might be. This is part of the role of federal leaders and what I would do, and I think our district is telling me they want to hear. Fourth is education reform. I think school choice and we find public education system has been a disaster without appropriate competition. And lastly, I think the social cohesion issue is really important, where we see free speech destroyed as an institution. And, you look at national sovereignty, Dr. Bob. National sovereignty is not only about borders, but it's about our consciousness. And our consciousness has abandoned the ability to have free speech. In the pandemic, you couldn't criticize vaccines, masks. You couldn't criticize Fauci or anything without having your ideas removed. We turned into what I thought my parents escaped in Syria. And our members of Congress, other candidates running for office, never seem to speak out about this.
It takes bravery. It takes people who are committed to saving this country. And I think you're one of those people.